Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny. I'm here today to share with you my February TBR and happy Read Soul Lit month. This is a book reading initiative that was started by Dee Dee from Brown Girl Reading years ago now, and she has a Patreon book club, but also runs I think twice a year, a read along across BookTube. So please join in with her if you are so inclined to read the group read that's going to be happening. So I'll start off there for my reading for February. We're going to be reading The Known World by Edward P. Jones. This is a slavery story, I believe. Henry Townsend is a black farmer and former slave who falls under the tutelage of William Robbins, the most powerful man in Manchester County, Virginia. I've heard lots of great things about this one from various different booktubers, and I've had it on my shelf for a really long time. So when I saw that Dee Dee had chosen this for the Read Soul Lit Book Club for February for Black History Month, I was really excited to join in. So really excited to get to this one in February. Now, I have a ton of books on this TBR. I think I went a little bit overboard, but there are some I'm going to prioritize for February and then some that'll probably move into March. So another one that I am prioritizing for Black History Month reading is Lose Your Mother, A Journey Along the Atlantic Slave Route by Saidiya Hartman. And this book is a memoir, and it is on my 5-star predictions list for 2024. So I thought it would be great to read this in February for Black History Month. And I hope that it will also inform some work that I'm doing around ideas of home, displacement, and things like that in my artwork. And the other book I'll be reading for Black History Month is Wild ImPerfections, Perfections, an anthology of womanist poems compiled and edited by Natalia, Molebatsi, and the foreword by Bernardine Evaristo. So this is just in keeping with reading more poetry this year, trying to read one poetry collection a month if possible. And I'm excited to see if any of these poems are ones that I enjoy. Featuring the work of Black women poets from Botswana to Brazil. In this collection, we encounter ancestors who made love just for the sake of love and women who die with each orgasm while attempting to mark the extent of their own humanities. Sounds very interesting, so I'm excited to check that out. Okay, so I think that's the extent of my Black History Month reading. The next thing that I am going to be doing some other nonfiction reading. So Women in the Picture by Catherine McCormack. I think I talked about this in my January TBR. I've already started reading this. This is the book club pick for the Thrive Together Network, which I run. And we're having a live show, or a Zoom live show to discuss this book on February 16th. So I have to have it read by then. This goes through the kind of tropes of women, visual tropes of women in art history, such as the Venus, mothers, whore, that whole idea of like these varied stereotypes of women and how they are depicted in art history and how that reflects in the broader culture, the broader visual culture, the broader culture in general around patriarchy. So that's where this one is what that one is talking about. And then this is Fed Up by Gemma Hartley, Emotional Labor, Women and the Way Forward. I'm going to be leading a discussion later on this year about emotional labor. And so that's why I got this one out. And I'm also running the Clocking In for Unpaid Labor project right now, which is a Canada-wide artist call for people to make art on time cards. If you are at all interested, if you are a Canadian artist and you would like to participate, I will put the link down below for you to sign up. It is open until the end of March 2024 for signups. This is an area that I have been interested in for a while. Ideas of labor and unpaid labor. Emotional labor is a new to me term that I've started hearing about in the last few years. It is very specific to a lot of the toil that women experience. I think that men can also experience emotional labor, but it is a particular labor that is reserved for women. And we often do this work without understanding its effect on us, without understanding how to shift away from just taking it on naturally, whether it's dealing with caring for people or just in our general lives. I think we don't really understand how to deal with the toll of emotional labor on us. And so this is me investigating, learning, trying to figure out where this will fall in my own life. And then we have the fiction for this month. Just in case you're wondering, Jenny, what about your BookTube Prize books? I did not sign up for round 1 of the BookTube Prize. A lot of other people did, which is fantastic. And I'm really glad that other people will be reading for the BookTube Prize. If you don't know what that is, please check out down below and there will be a link to the channel. I decided not to sign up for round 1. I didn't do that last year either. And I found that it was a smoother transition for me to start reading in round 2 because I think the first round can tend to have a lot of challenging books, dead books maybe. And I thought, you know, if they don't need me in the first round, I'm just gonna slide in there once we've got some of the kind of outliers eliminated and get down to the kind of more crisp books. That does mean though that I'll probably be making a long list impressions video. So hopefully you're interested in hearing my thoughts on the books that I think are interesting and also on the books that I think will be making it through to round 2. Okay, so fiction, I'm gonna be reading 4, probably only 3. I'm not sure how many fiction books I'm gonna get to in February. It's a short month, but I have already started The Descendants by Kaui, Hart, Hemmings. This was made into a film a while ago now, and it is set in Hawaii on the Big Island. And the reason I'm reading this is because my family and I are going to be traveling to Hawaii, the Big Island, in March. And so, as is usual for me, I read books about the place I'm going before I go there. So I am going to be reading The Descendants, or I've started reading The Descendants, and this is a family story. This is about the King family, and Matthew is a lawyer and he is the father in the family of 2 daughters. And when the story opens, his wife is in a coma after a boating accident, and he has, you know, become the main parent, become the prominent parent. And at the same time, he is trying to figure out how he's going to sell off a trust of land that has been passed down to him through his grandmother, who was a Hawaiian princess. And so there's these 2 kind of things happening at the same time. Yeah, I have seen the movie, so I don't really remember all the details of the plot. So it's nice to revisit the story here. Next I have Winter by Ali Smith. I read Autumn in October of 2023, I think, perhaps. And I enjoyed it enough to keep going in the quartet. And I think that my attitude towards these books is that I will keep reading them as long as I like them. So if I like this one, I'll read Spring. If I don't like it, I'll probably won't. That's just how I'm approaching this. These books were written over the course of a year, and they refer specifically to the seasons. When 4 people, strangers and family, converge on a 15-bedroom house in Cornwall for Christmas, will there be enough room for everyone? So, reading this, gonna see how I like it. Don't know if I'll like it, but gonna read it. And then I might be a masochist for trying to read this book. This is Hawaii by James A. Michener. This is a over 1,000 pages book with extensive family trees in the back that I just flipped through here. Genealogical charts in the back. This covers the epic history of Hawaii from the beginning. It was published in 1959. It's a saga that covers, you know, the Polynesian seafarers arriving on the islands, flourishing 19th century American missionaries. So it's covering like a vast portion of the history of Hawaii. And so I don't know, everybody. I don't know if I'm going to read this whole book. How big it is. I'm going to read The Descendants and Winter first. And then I'm going to start this. And if I like it enough, maybe I'll bring it to Hawaii with me. Although it's a very big book to transport on a plane. But, you know, I'm just going to see how it goes. I am not going to put a lot of pressure on myself to try to read this before we get there, or read it at all if I don't like it. So this is just me trying this out, and we will see if I decide that I like it. I do like epic sagas, usually. So I may like this one. I don't know if I've ever read any James A. Michener. I think I can safely say that I have not read any James A. Michener. And I will say that I do really love Rutherford. I can't remember his first name, but he writes very epic books about European places. So I've read his London book. I have read his Russia book. And have I read others? I can't remember right now, but I do enjoy his books. I do enjoy them. And I feel like this is very similar in sweep and scope in what it's trying to do. So yeah, I'm going to try it out. The book that I decided to listen to for February is 1984 by George Orwell. I found an audio copy of this on Spotify. I have a Spotify subscription. It is not specifically set up like an audiobook in the sense that, you know, you kind of lose your place through the chapters if you're not, you have to pay attention to where you are to go back later. It's set up more like an album than a book. But I wanted to listen to it because I know that Julia, this novel, will probably be, I think, on the long list for the Book 2 prize for fiction. And while it's highly unlikely that I will read for fiction because I read for both nonfiction and fiction, so I will most likely always be doing nonfiction because there's almost always too few judges reading nonfiction. I wanted to finally listen to 1984 so that I know what it's all about. So I haven't read Animal Farm. I haven't read 1984. It was not a book that we read in school, as it is for so many people. And so I just felt like it was time for me to see what it's all about and listen to it. So that's what I'm doing. And I usually try to listen to classics because I find them a little bit easier to take that way. Sometimes reading them physically gets me kind of frustrated at times. So that is my reading for February. I feel like there's a lot going on here. Of course, I was not talking about the known world when I was talking about my other fiction, but this will definitely be read in February as well. So The Descendants, the known world, for sure. How far I get into Hawaii, who knows? I will most likely carry that through into March before we leave on the trip, for sure, because I just don't even know how how quickly I can get through such a huge book. And I wasn't specifically planning on reading any big books this year, so it's quite something. We'll see. But anyway, that is my reading for February, and I will be back again soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching.